hearty welcome or welcome back to the class. Okay, we have already defined the person, acting person, and then, well, we said the acting person involves so many dimensions. Therefore, we are taking up different dimensions of the acting person, and therefore the first one is the somatic aspect. Man, the first point under that is man is essentially incarnate. So I have given a lot of explanation. Yes, what do you mean by bodily existence? Bodily existence simply cannot be compared to that what you possess as something, but rather, yes, the very bodily existence means the very way of being in this world. So that is what he said, the way of being in the world. So, in other words, your bodily existence is the way that you find yourself in the world. So when you come to contemporary history of Western philosophy, you will study Heidegger. Heidegger speaks about man is said to be, yes, the Dasein is said to be in the world. Clear? So in the world means he is one among the many other things with his bodily existence. And this is the way he relates himself. That's the point. This is the way. You will have plenty to take from there to put in along with this one, because you will be studying Heidegger in details. Follow? So, and then the second aspect is, yes, it is exactly with this way you are with others. With the same. With the same means, yes, with the same having, yes, the bodily existence. Well, first one is, yes, in the world of creation. Clear? So, you are in the world means with all other things having their own particular identity, you too have your identity as a physical, bodily existence. And then, yes, the second aspect is that, yes, the bodily existence is with the same, with sign. Once I said in the class. With the same means with the same having the same type of bodily existence. Clear? So that is, and so it cannot be simply dispensed with. That's the thing. So that is the first point. In the unitary conception of man, body is not an unnecessary, inferior aspect, but an integral dimension. Integral dimension of man. So, that is something to be noted. Body is not a mere mass of flesh and bones, but an essential way of being in the world. An essential, that is the first point, clear? An essential way of being in the world. So that we analyze it from a phenomenological perspective. That is what is going to be the rest of it. Slowly I will read, you understand, write down whatever you get it. The phenomenologists do not take an approach of a spectator to body. Yes. The bodily aspect of man is not, person is not something, the body is not a spectator. Clear? So in other words, you try to, what is that? Is this a shock? Not a shock, like, no, this is the way I am. And that's what my uniqueness is. So it's not simply a spectator, yes, aspect, but rather, yes, body, but than that of an actor. Yes, of an actor. I will read that sentence once again. The phenomenologists do not take an approach of a spectator to body, yes, but that of an actor. And he is not concerned about an objective and subjective analysis of the body as a problem. Yes, that is what had been discussed in the past. You can only need to remember. Yes, not concerned about an objective and subjective analysis of body as a problem, but looks at it as his body, as my body. Yes, that is a phenomenological study. Clear? It's my body. It is the way I exist here on earth. Gabriel Marcel, we had a mystery element, while talking about existentialism and Martin Buber. Gabriel Marcel too comes there. Marcel places much importance on the mind character of body. My body, mine. It is my body. In other words, yes, you cannot simply replace it. That's why, well, you understand now, substance cannot be replaced. We have seen it already in the other class. So in other words, my body is mine. Possessive pronoun. It cannot be replaced. That's the aspect. Clear? So it cannot be simply replaced. Okay. The use of the possessive pronoun mine here is not to be understood as in the case of my pen, my cat, etc. Clear? Okay. What I have is at my disposal. I can dispose it of without ceasing to be what I am. But I cannot dispose of my body without ceasing to be myself. Yes, that is why Marcel speaks about the mine aspect. Yes, if mine will disappear when I am no longer. Therefore, it's something very important and we need to bear it in mind. So, it's not something like as I have a pen and all. I explained in the beginning. I cannot dispose of my body without ceasing to be myself. C-A-S-I-N-G. Ceasing to be myself. So, without ceasing to be myself. So, that is something very important and then you need to remember that. Then, my body is not a having. My body is not a having as I have a pen. Clear? So, it cannot be, my body cannot be understood as having in the sense as I have a pen, as I have a file, etc. Clear? So, that's to be taken, extremely noted. Well, body has, according to Marcel, an ambivalent position of being and having. According to Marcel, body has an ambivalent character of being as well as having. That's the thing. So, well, regarding other things, well, you say having. But then, regarding body, you say, yes, this is my way of being and having. So, an ambivalence is there. In other words, you cannot make use of any category to explain this aspect. Very difficult. Yes. Well, if you say having, immediately, yes, I have also my tape recorder or I have my smartphone and all that. Well, but then Gabriel Marcel would say, well, there is an ambivalence. That ambivalence can be only, yes, understood in the proper sense of body as having and being. When regarding pen or other file or smartphone and all, you say, don't say about being. You don't say, I have a smartphone, you say, I have a file, you say. But then there is an ambivalence of being and having while talking about body. Body has, according to Marcel, an ambivalent position of being and having. It's more appropriately said that I am bodily incarnate. So all what is stated before can be summed up in one sentence, and that is, I am bodily or incarnate. I am bodily or incarnate. Means in flesh. I am in flesh, yes. Christmas, incarnation we call it, clear, no? Yes, I am incarnate or I am bodily. So all what was explained above can be summed up in this sentence. Yes, I am bodily or incarnate. Okay. Even our daily language shows that man is essentially bodily. So, our daily language, no? We say, I am hungry. We don't say, my body is hungry. We say, I am hungry. Or, I feel pain. You don't say, my body feels pain, you know? Yes. So, we say, I am hungry or I feel pain rather than my body is hungry or my body is feeling pain or my body weighs 60 kg or as many kg as you are, you right. You don't say, my body, I weigh 80 kg or 60 kg or 75 kg, whatever it is, you're right. But then, you see, we say, I am hungry or I feel pain rather than my body is hungry, my body is feeling pain or my body weighs 60 kg. You say, I am 60 kg. Okay. This is the first point, and that is what we have said as man essentially incarnate. And we are going to draw certain conclusions or certain aspects from conclusions or inherent meaning from the very same point. That is the next paragraph. Well, it is through my body that my placement in the world is determined and my being in the world is realized. Yes, man is essentially incarnate, we said. And the second point under the same is that, it is through my body that my placement in the world is determined. Yes, my placement being in the world is determined and being in the world is realized. Yes, determined and realized. Yes, you have come here. Space and time. Well, you see a person in space and time. You have the idea of the person in your mind. Yes, it is. You realize that person. So, I here exist in space and time. Yes, my existence is determined and realized by my bodily incarnation. Okay. To incarnate means to be related. To be incarnate means to be related and or to be present. This is a phenomenological analysis. So, you relate yourself, you present yourself as a person through your incarnate body. So, look at, you are determined and realized in your incarnate body. The same thing can be put it in a different way by saying the substance relating itself. The same way you look at through your incarnated body, or in your bodily existence, you relate yourself with others. As you imagine, 50 of you or 70 of you are sitting in the class. I come for class and I relate myself this way. I present myself. So you said, we have already said, the substance cannot be replaced. Okay. So here, connecting it with present, clear. I relate myself and I present myself in my body incarnate. Suppose you expect me for the class and someone else come. How this father is not here, you say. Why? Yes, we have said substance cannot be replaced. Clear? Immediately you understand it's not the history of Western philosophy, what you call anthropology professor is coming, somebody else. Because the bodily incarnate presence is somebody else. Cannot be replaced. So all those aspects are coming again and again. To incarnate means to be related or to be present in the environmental and communal world. In the environmental and communal, we have seen this one. Communal world. Communal world means myth-sign. With the same. Environmental world means in the world. Yes. So in other words, through my bodily incarnate way, I relate myself in the world and I myself with the same. Or I relate myself or to be present. So this is the speciality of phenomenological studies. So you go on taking the different dimensions in a phenomenal way. Okay. Body shows itself not in isolation as a mass of flesh and bones, but in total situation. Clear? It's not simply in a total situation. In a total situation, you present yourself. That sentence you can write down. The body is the center. The body is the center to which body is the center to which all the various movements are meaningfully connected. The body is the center, yes, to which all the various movements are meaningfully connected and indicated by a complex of instrumentals or instrumentalities, indicated by a complex of instrumentalities and goals, G-O-A-L-S. So that's something very important. So in other words, I relate myself and I realize myself through my bodily incarnation. I relate myself, I present myself to the environmental world as well as to the communal world in this particular with my physical existence. In other words, this is the total situation in which I present myself. Okay. Then we continue different aspects. I perceive others' body as beautiful, not by exclusively concentrating on their body in isolation, but relating the various factors in their body. So if we call someone beautiful or handsome, it's not simply looking the person in isolation, looking at the ears or nose or face, but then the whole person as such. That's the thing. So I call someone as beautiful or handsome, yes, not simply in isolation, but in the total figure of the person. I cannot also see the other's body in isolation, but only in the total situation. Okay, that is the other point. Now, well, in relation to, that is what is the next point. The same idea, but in a phenomenological way, we are trying to see. So this is called phenomenological analysis of Dasein. Clear? Okay, I encounter the other, and the other encounter me through my body. I encounter the other, and vice versa. The other encounter me. Yes, I encounter the other, and the other encounter me through body. So, I encounter the other, and the other encounter me through body. Yes, it's another idea. So, it's an analysis of man essentially incarnate. A lot can be said about it. I enter into others' world through my body. I enter into others' world. Yes, each person is a world. Clear? Each person is a world. So I enter into the other, and the other, or enter, or we can also use encounter, that's better. I encounter, bracket, can also put enter, no problem. I encounter the other, and the other encounter me through body. I enter into others' world through his body. So in other words, we have already defined man a subsistent being capable of communication and relation and all. There comes communication between two persons is possible. Communication between two persons is possible. Communication is possible. Communication between two persons is possible by means of body. Communication between two persons is possible by means of body. How? Yes, you laugh, your gestures, your actions. Each person has a unique way of relating. You observe the professors taking class. Each one's way of taking is different. So in other words, I encounter others' world. Communication between persons is possible by means of body. The gestures, actions and words are of unique. That's the thing. Okay. To be bodily means to be open to. To be bodily means to be open to. This is part of communication, clear? To be bodily means, yes, to be open to expose, etc. As openness, yes, to be open. As openness, A very important idea is coming. You will study also in Levinas. Clear? As openness, body is the door. As openness, body is the door to the world outside. To the world outside. So, body is the door to the world outside. Yes. Here comes empiricism. Experience is the source of knowledge. Experience is the source of knowledge. Experience is of two kinds or two folds, namely external and internal. How do you get the external one? Through 5 senses. 5 senses. Yes, that's my way of being in the world. I relate myself to others and to the world of creatures through my senses. Yes, body. Look at how we have integrated all the previous aspects of thought. So, as openness, body is the door to the world outside, the access to the things and persons. Yes, access to the things and persons. Yes, I relate myself to the world. Yes, that is what we have summed up in the beginning. Okay, this is to say, he enters into others' world through his body. He enters into others' world through his body. At the same time, his body is the intermediary of his concealedness. Yes. You relate to yourself. At the same time, body also becomes a boundary. Yes. You come to know the world and others through your body, but then you don't simply reveal yourself, but rather, yes, there is also a concealment which we will come later. I don't want mix up things now. Yes, door we said, door is not only for entry, door is also for non-entry. Clear? You keep this door closed, you don't allow anyone to get in. You keep the door opened, you allow others to. Yes, body is also means for entry and yes, exit. Exit, instead of exit, closeness. Clear? You don't allow anybody and everybody to enter into your world of meaning. So, as the door stands for both welcome and rejection, so also is the body. That when you come into Levinas, you will study it more. The other can hide himself through his body. Yes, the other can hide himself through his body and need not appear to me in lucid clarity. That is again another point. Yes, a person can be with you for several weeks and days and weeks and months, but finally you would also say, I do not know this person. Why? He doesn't open himself. So opening of the person, opening of oneself, the interior aspect of one's life is also, yes, through in and body. Therefore, don't forget, these are very important philosophical reflections regarding body. Man essentially incarnate. Thus, the body shows itself. Thus, the body shows itself as the possibility for The body shows itself as the possibility to show him to me, to show him to me. Yes, in other words, through the bodily contact, you come to know the other, okay? Me, or to hide from me, or to hide from me. So in other words, bodily incarnation becomes a means to show the other to me or to hide the other from me. Both are taking place. We know it. Yes. Yes. The last point under this section is, well, this body also remains as a boundary. Boundary. What do you mean by boundary? At the limit. Yes. You cannot come to my room and say, I love you, if I am not there. That's the point. So in other words, yes, the boundary means different explanations and reflections can be given. Yes, now you in 2020, September, you see me in this bodily existence. After 15 years, when you see me again, you will say, oh, Professor, oh, Father, you have gone very thin, or you have grown very, very fat. Why? Yes, the bodily existence. So, as an essential way of, last paragraph, as an essential way of man's being in the world, bodliness is a boundary symbol. Is a boundary symbol. Yes. Although I experienced my body as mine, I recognized it as a radically other than myself. This recognition grips me when I realize my life with its limit. Yes, limiting aspect of body, that's all. You need to remember. Yes, my body opens up and limits possibility. As existence in the world, man is fundamentally limited to an irrevocable facticity of embodiment. Yes, this is the limiting. You come to know me through this particular body. In short, through my body with its various essential characteristics of being in the world is realized. I come to know the world, I come to know the other in and through my body. So, in short, through my body with its various essential characteristics which we have explained above, my being in the world is realized. So, in other words, I realize myself in and through my bodily existence. So, that is the first point under somatic aspect, namely, man essentially incarnate. The second point will be 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, 2. Yes, man throne existence in the world. That we will see it in the next class. Thank you.